our example here is one extra one in addition to what we were doing in class today. It says that we have a compound that contains 12.79% carbon, 2.15% hydrogen, and we also have some bromine, 85.06%. Well, we remember that the first thing we need to do is assume that we have 100 grams to figure out the empirical formula. That's going to make life much easier. So the first part of the problem is determine the empirical, then we're going to figure out the molecular. So if I make these into grams, next step, I have 12.79 grams of carbon, 2.15 grams of hydrogen, and 85.06 grams of bromine. Well, now I need to convert those to moles. So I look at the periodic table. I know that carbon has a mass. For every 1 mole of carbon, I have 12.01 grams. Hydrogen, nice and simple one for us. For every 1 mole of hydrogen, I have 1.01 grams of hydrogen. And for bromine, I actually have to look. It is 1 mole for every 79.90 grams of bromine. Now I can calculate those out. I get 1.065 moles, and then I get 2.13 moles, and finally 1.065 moles. Well, this works out really well for us because we have 2 of the values exactly the same. When I'm finding that smallest ratio, I'm going to divide by that smallest number. So my carbon, we'll write it out just so we all see it. Carbon, 1.065 divided by 1.065 is just equal to 1. The hydrogen, 2.13 divided by 1.065 is a nice 2.13 for us, which is, is a 2.0, so nice 1 as well, 2. And then bromine, 1.065 divided by 1.065 is just 1. So part A of this, the empirical formula, is carbon, hydrogen 2, bromine. And we talked about how the empirical formula is not specific enough for us, that methanol versus ethanoic acid versus glucose all having the same empirical formula, but ranging from deadly to tasty. We need to be more particular, and that's why it's asking us in the second part, what is the molecular formula? So let's get rid of what we've got up here so far, and take a closer look at our empirical formula and convert that to the molecular formula. So my empirical is CH2Br. I can figure out what the mass of that is just on its own. So I have 1 carbon, which is 12.01 grams per mole. I have 2 hydrogens, which means I have 2 times the mass of 1 from the periodic table, hydrogen, which gives me 2.02 grams per mole. And my bromine, I just have 1 of them, 79.09 grams per mole. Now that I have all of those values, I can add them up, and I get, as a sum, 93.93. Well, the other part of my question said that the total mass was 187.9. So now that I know that that's my entire mass, but I have a mass here of 93.93, what I'm going to do is take that total mass, divide by my partial mass, 93.93, to get my ratio. I have 2. So 2 of this, CH2Br, fits into the mass of this, so I just have to multiply 2 by CH2Br. So my final molecular formula, part B, is going to be C2H4Br2. Now I've completed that problem.